Today we're going to take a look at the Bulldog Winch Power Sport Series ATV Winch. This is going to have synthetic rope and a housed fair lead, and it's going to be rated at 2,500 pounds. This is going to be a standard duty winch to help you get out of those tricky situations, whether you find yourself stuck in the mud or maybe just out in the snow. This can also be used for other applications, but it's going to be primarily designed to use with your ATV and recovery if you get stuck. It does have a sealed motor that's going to be a 1 horsepower 12-volt DC permanent magnet motor. So it's going to give you powerful and fast, safe line pulling. It's also going to reduce the weight and be more efficient than a series wound motor. It has all steel 3-stage Planetary gear train, and that's all sealed up to keep out any water and prevent any internal corrosion from happening. We'll also have our sealed 250 amp contactor. That's going to transmit the power from our winch to our ATV, or the other way around. It's going to transmit the power from our ATV's battery to our winch. We'll have our contacts on our winch itself, and then those are going to connect into our contactor here, and then that's going to go on to our vehicle's battery. Now this is labeled. We have our 2 black connections, 2 red connections. Those are going to match up with our cables here. We're going to have 2 that are going to be a bit longer at 5 feet and 2 that are a bit shorter at 3 feet. There's also the rubber boots to go over those connections and keep them all sealed up and protected from the elements. Our contactor itself is going to be water and weather resistant. You want to make sure that you mount this under the hood or the front cover of your ATV with the included hardware. We'll have a nut, lock washer, and split washer, or flat washer and split washer there. Let's go on either side with the little bracket at the bottom. We also have our rocker switch. Lets you operate the ATV from the seat of your ATV. It has a clamp bracket that's going to go around the handlebar, so it's just going to clamp around there, and then the tag end gets connected to the bracket on our switch. Our cables are going to be able to connect into each other on our solenoid. Our winch is also going to have an automatic mechanical brake that's going to hold 100% of the load while minimizing winch creep. It does have a free spooling clutch, so on the side we'll have our switch there to go from free spool to engage. That is embossed on there, so it's going to be counterclockwise for free spool, clockwise for engaged. We're going to have 3 16th diameter HMPE synthetic rope. That's going to be just as strong as steel, but lighter weight and safer to handle, since we won't have to worry about any fraying ends of that steel rope poking into our hands and causing a lot of damage there. You also don't have to worry about the same sort of recoil that you get with steel rope if there's a failure. This is going to have a lot less kinetic energy buildup and therefore less whiplash if that were to fail. We're also going to have 50 feet of length for our rope with a 6-foot woven polyester protective sleeve. At the end you'll notice that we have our 1/4-inch steel hook and the red nylon hand saver strap. Those are included with this, and that just helps to have another thing to grab onto and be highly visible at the front of our winch. We have the rounded fair lead. That's going to be the housed style. That helps to prevent any friction damage to our rope, so it's going to help to prevent any fraying there. This is going to be made of a heavy-duty CNC machine billet aluminum, so you don't have to worry about any rust or corrosion with that. That's going to be sitting on our bracket that is included with our winch. It's just connected by the 2 bolts on either side of the fair lead, and then the bracket is going to attach by the 4 bolts at the bottom of our winch. Now there might be a custom mounting plate sold separately for your ATV to mount your winch and your fair lead up to that. So check out etrailer.com for any custom mounting plates for that. Everything is going to have a nice black powder coat finish to help resist any rust and corrosion. As far as the additional specs, this is going to have a rated line pull with a single layer of synthetic rope around the drum of 2,500 pounds as a static load. Now the maximum recommended ATV GVW is going to be 1,250 pounds. Our motor again is going to be a 12-volt DC powered motor. It's going to have a line pull at 0 pounds of 15 amps with the line pull at 0 pounds, the power draw is going to be 15 amps, and then the line speed is going to be 24 feet per minute. The line pull at 2,500 pounds, so maxed out, the power draw is going to be 204 amps, and the line speed is going to go down to 9 feet per minute. The gear ratio is going to be 136 to 1. It has a duty cycle of 2 minutes on and 15 minutes off. Our battery lead wire, again, that's going to be 5 gauge wire on all of those with the different lengths of 5 feet and 3 feet. Our rope dimensions, again, 50 feet long, 3/16 of an inch in diameter or 5.5 millimeter. The length of the lead off of our rocker switch is going to be 9.5 feet. As far as the winch itself, it's going to measure 13.5 inches long. It's going to be 4 3/8 of an inch wide. That's going from the bolts here, our contacts on the winch itself. It's the widest point. And it's going to be 1.5 inches tall. Now that's without the bracket or the fair lead. With those two on there, it's going to make it a little bit wider. So you're looking at more like 6 inches in total width there, going from the back of our winch to the front of that fair lead. As far as the drum, it's going to be 2 inches in diameter, and it's going to be 2 15/16 inches long. Our mounting bolt, or our mounting plate, excuse me, is going to have a 4-bolt mounting pattern. The distance between those two bolts, center on center, is going to be just under 5 inches at 4 15/16 of an inch, and then in the other direction it's going to be 3 inches center on center. The thickness on our fair lead is going to be 3/4 of an inch. And the winch weight with the synthetic rope installed is going to be 16.9 pounds. And that's going to do it for our look at the Bulldog Winch Power Sport Series ATV winch with synthetic rope and the Howes fair lead rated at 2,500 pounds.